result of this strike on Sunday, I have no policy changes to speak to.
It's a rallying call, it's a slogan, and it's a political reality, all of it rolled into one. Social media has been flooded with a picture. Let me pull it up for you. It shows a massive refugee camp in the desert. Look at how the tents have been arranged. It reads, "All eyes on Rafah." And if you're wondering, yes, this image was generated by artificial intelligence. It was not clicked in Rafah, but it is going viral. This picture has been shared millions of times by movie stars, by athletes, and by politicians. Look at some of the prominent names: pop star Dua Lipa, model Bella Hadid, cricketer Travis Head, and a long list of Bollywood stars like Alia Bhatt, Varun Dhawan, and Kareena Kapoor. Now, this trend raises a couple of questions. One, where did it come from? Two, how did it spread? And three, why now? The slogan itself came from the WHO, the World Health Organization. One of their officials made this comment in February. He was speaking after Israel ordered Rafah's evacuation. He said, "All eyes are on Rafah." But how did the image spread? It's not clear who made this picture, but rights groups picked it up, like Save the Children, Oxfam, and Justice in Palestine. All of them shared this picture on social media. Then celebrities picked it up, or maybe their PR teams did. And that's how it blew up. Right now, it's almost everywhere. The picture was shared more than 37 million times by Wednesday morning. It's among the first uses of AI in activism, which brings us to the final question: why now? Because of what happened on Sunday. Israel bombed a refugee camp in Rafah. They killed around 45 Palestinian civilians, all of them inside tents. Now, most countries have criticized Israel's attack. The European Union is actually discussing sanctions on Israel. But guess who is not moved? The United States of America.
Can you explain how the strike in Rafah does not cross the lines that the president has set?
We still don't believe that a major ground operation in Rafah is warranted. We still don't want to see the Israelis, as we say, smash into Rafah with large units over large pieces of territory. We still believe that, and we haven't seen that at this point.
So bombing a refugee camp is not a red line. Then what is? Apparently a full-scale operation. Honestly, we understand the sentiment. We're talking about the United States here, a country that has bombed 30 other countries, 30 countries, a country whose wars have killed 400,000 civilians. So clearly a refugee camp is nothing for them. But where does that leave accountability? Who will investigate this attack? Israel themselves. Their military is probing Sunday's bombing. You can guess what they will find. Maybe an accuracy issue or a problem with the camp structure. But the world may not buy it. United Nations agencies have already questioned Israel's excuses. They don't think this was a mishap. They think it was deliberate. Same with eyewitnesses. They say the refugee camps were housing wounded children.
We heard this called a tragic mishap, a mistake. I guess the question is, what then to call the ferocious attacks that have killed thousands and thousands of children? How do we describe the actions that have pushed an entire population to starvation?
I heard a strong sound and found smoke rising from the tent. I went into the tent and found the woman was bleeding and the children were bleeding. All the children that were in the tent were wounded. Not one of them came out in one piece.
Could this be a turning point? The point where the world says no more? It certainly looks like it. Sunday's strike has re-energized the protests. We've seen demonstrations across the world in Western cities, in Arab capitals, and on social media. Will this translate into political action? That depends on world leaders. The UN Security Council will discuss a new resolution. It was proposed by Algeria. It calls for a truce in Gaza. The question is, will the UNSC members support it? All eyes are on the US now. They have blocked multiple resolutions in the past. Only one has been allowed to pass, a Ramzan ceasefire call in the month of March. Back then, the US abstained from voting, so it passed. Now, we'll have to wait and see what they do this time. Abstain, support, or veto. Of course, the final decision is up to Israel. They've already made their position clear. We do not care about the UNSC. So resolution or not, the attack will continue. Israeli tanks have already reached the center of Rafah. Many of the residents have started fleeing. Some to refugee camps on the outskirts, others to Khan Yunis, which is a city in the north of Rafah. A city north of Rafah, Khan Yunis. So Netanyahu's plan is pretty clear. He knows that the US will not support an all-out assault, so he's bleeding Rafah. He's using airstrikes to drive people out, and the civilian casualties, as Netanyahu said, a tragic mistake, but not tragic enough to make him stop the war.
South Africa's May 29th elections.
There was a start of change in the country.
We are on the verge of history.
I am standing here at the forefront of change where voices echo the call for action. The nation grapples with an unemployment crisis. As South Africans prepare to cast their votes, the question looms, will the winds of change usher in a new era, or will the legacy of the past maintain its grip on the future?
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.